Well, we have high stakes testing and AZ merit, and the reason why I have both of those is because we're going to explain a little bit of high stakes testing and what exactly that is. And so, Common Core right here is tied to high stakes testing. It has to be, and it's also imperative for the data collection that will be brought up later on. These are costs that have come up that districts are broke. They're looking at having to do the infrastructure for it. They want it all online. And I'll tell you, as the board president of a charter school, we don't have the money. We do not have the money. We do not believe that that's the best way to be able to improve education for our children. And it talks about tax increases. We've had some we don't want anymore. This year, it's going to be about $19 million, but we don't know how much it's going to cost in the future. And once again, we're looking at teacher pay, we're looking at funding. Is this really the best way to help improve education? And let me go here. This is only $25 million. I'll just go here that it's going to cost us over up to $367 million, and we only received $25 million. So return on investment, not there. This here actually is not some of my slides here. Did it go backwards? Am I going backwards?
Why are you going backwards?
Look, push page up. Supposed to be page down?
Yeah, page down.
There we go.
Yeah, you were going backwards.
Okay, there we go. Primary purpose of assessments. What is an assessment? What is it supposed to do? You teach a concept, fractions, and then you have an assessment to be able to determine how well the child has done. And therefore, it's feedback to the teacher, and then also the ability to be able to help the student. Once high-stakes tests are established, we don't get that deliverable in regards to really determining how well the student is doing. And so, high-stakes test. Why do they call it a high-stakes test? As you can see here, it's to make important, potentially life-altering decisions. And as you can see there, it could be high school diploma. I know in many states now, Washington State, some of the others, with the Common Core test, the kids may not get a diploma if they do not pass this test, even though they may have gotten A's. You talk about repetition of the grade, the labeling of students in school. That is very important. I have to tell you, as a charter school, you're looking at marking yourself, saying, okay, we're a good school. And with that label, that makes a difference. And so oftentimes what happens is schools work to try and get that high label. Withholding of funds, closing of schools. And I just want to ask you, how many of you, either you have had the problem, or maybe you know of others? I have a couple of kids that have test anxiety. And when they get test anxiety.
Yeah.
And when you get there, and there's that anxiety that occurs. And I will tell you, I've done some law research. My background actually is a registered dietitian, so I did a lot of pre-med, pre-dental, with the hypothalamus, all of the brain, how it works. And when your anxiety level's up here, your ability to pull forth the information that you have and you know, it is shut down. So, do we want to really grade students on that? And schools? And another thing is does it improve student learning? Now, NAEP is the National Assessment of Educational Progress, and it is put throughout every, so like fourth and eighth graders and that nature check to see how well we're progressing in all different subjects. And they found that those states that had a high stakes test, and they found that they did not do as well. And in fact, as it states here, in addition, states with high school graduation tests were less likely to show statistically significant improvement in their student scores than were states without such tests. And some of it, they weren't even able to reach a basic or proficient level. And why is that? Narrowing the curriculum. What happens? Well, they know kind of what's going to be on the test. So what do schools do? They narrow their curriculum to match what the test is on. Okay? And what usually is on the test? Math, reading, writing, very important, of course, but guess what gets left out? And of course, I was also chairman of the Arizona State Constitutional Commemoration Committee, so I believe history and civics, it should be right up there as well. But that usually gets pushed out. Art and music, the research that shows how beneficial that is to being able for students to learn. There's the right brain, left brain, that connection between the two hemispheres. That must occur. But that gets left out when a lot of this happens. Also, if you look at here, research-based best instructional practices. What happens is oftentimes teachers change the way they teach so that they can get this information into their students so that they will do well. And that's not good either. And also extra time for tested subject areas, once again taking away. And so we see quite a bit of problems with that. And then of course, as we see here, oh, I did the wrong way again. Okay, and then also talks about here, this is a quote here. Teachers negotiate high-stakes testing educational environments. And then what it does is, like I said, narrowing of curriculum, and it increases, this is very interesting, fragmentation of knowledge forms into bits and pieces. What does that mean? It creates holes in the curriculum. Math, if you have a concept that you don't master or skipped over, you have to go all the way back and rebuild upon that. That is imperative. And so what happens is oftentimes it creates holes. Also in regards to history or with reading or writing, what it does is it creates holes and they fragment it according to what's going to be on the test for that year, for that grade level. So, and then it also makes it more what they call lecture-based, teacher-centered pedagogy. And of course we do believe, like our school, whole teacher-led instruction, but it does not allow, per se, oftentimes as much time to be able to create some of those other environments that might help. For example, science, to learn it from a textbook and just lecture doesn't happen. It's got to be, lab-based in that. But once again, if that does not meet what it needs on the test, it's not going to happen. And this is something that's important. When the tests are aligned to the common standards, the curriculum will line up as well. When they say standards, just say, oh, we could choose your curriculum or whatever, but what happens with those standards, the test is going to kind of dictate what's going on with the standards, and therefore it changes the curriculum. So that's something that, that's an argument they make, but in reality that's not what is occurring. Student scores improvement. They'll say, oh, well, our scores are improving or whatever. Well, you could easily do that by just testing those areas where what's going to be on the test. And is that, once again, is that a good, well-rounded education? And also what's on the test, is that actually information that they really need to know? What is most important? So that's something that's important. Once again, dropping out a lot of curriculum. Developmentally inappropriate testing. They're wanting us to use a lot of heavy standardized tests for younger grades. In kindergarten, first grade, we have resisted it. I know at the school, we've done some basic business tests and that. But to do what they really want us to do is going to be a lot of testing, and that's not really the best way. Assessments are important, and that I think teachers, if you believe the teachers know what they're trained, they know what they need to do, they need to know what the help students are progressing on what they are teaching. But doing a lot of these standardized tests doesn't really provide the information that we need. And they state here under age 8, the question is on reliability. And then in regards to developmental and cognitive development of children, there's that concrete stage, and they call it also maturity, and there's a lot of that as well. But basically, it's right around 8, 9, 10, there's some huge jumps in cognitive ability. And you need to give those kids the opportunity to get to that point. And once again, standardized testing isn't really the best way to determine that at that younger age. That's what I'm also, the other thing is, developing inappropriate testing. This is about the writing test. And here it talks about that 3rd and 4th graders are to write an opinion of an inferred topic, while 5th and 6th graders are to write an argument. And then it talks about your children under 11, 12 have a problem with interest. Just cognitively, they're not there yet. And to push is not going to make it happen. You need to go along with the developmental abilities of the students. And then once they get to that point, it makes a big difference. Also, the number of hours spent testing, 7 or more hours. That's about the amount that lawyers national exam. I spent a lot of time studying for that. Then the effects on students. It decreases student motivation. Now, how am I going to do well? I will tell you, I talked with my sister. She is a teacher up there in Utah. Now, of course, the AZ Merit and the SAGE test are the exact same. 4 minutes? Okay. And so, therefore, they see a huge problem with her students that she's trying to get to graduate, and they don't feel comfortable. And they feel like, I didn't do well. Why don't I keep going? I can't do it. So, she's having more problems, and it's like, okay, I'll have a job already. That's okay. She's like, what? So that's happening there. Student motivation. That kind of goes along, and I'm going to skip because I'm running out of time here, but they just don't have the motivation to do it. Retention. Sometimes, you might use a high-stakes test for that. Is a problem, and it doesn't necessarily prove good results. Testing bias. What we see here, that it's right there at the bolded. To expect tougher standards and a renewed emphasis on standardized testing to reduce poverty inequalities, to expect what never was and never will be. It won't equalize outcome. And then, once again, they're expecting an increased dropout rate, up to double. Also, it was created and implemented to increase accountability, but we are not doing that. So I'm just going to continue here. Grades and attendance, not test scores, are the main factors to increase student performance, not high-stakes tests. And this one here, the SAGE test, was created by AIR, and it's one of the largest behavioral and social science research and evaluation organizations. Why are they creating a test? Okay, and this one here, when you go through a test, you have to have validity reports. That is standard procedure. There have been none done on the engineering test. So we don't know if it's actually testing academics. In fact, Dr. Thompson says there's no way that the AIR-produced SAGE AZ Merit Common Core test measures academic achievement in a valid manner, and quite probably doesn't measure academics at all. Okay, I'm going to go ahead here. What happens is everyone ends up with a grade. The student, the teacher, the principal, and the school, but they don't have any diagnostic value. This is the Massachusetts example. Dr. Sotsky, she went over it. They had a great accountability, independent accountability office. They scored at the top in the throughout the nation all those years. And they even tested at the top internationally, math and science. But with the Common Core, that's a huge decrease in their abilities. Need to compare schools. I'm going to have to move on here. This is one from our teacher. She says, I'm doing less teaching due to standards and testing. There's too much time on testing, too many requirements and hoops. We're seeking for a perfect formula, and the children are suffering from it. Kids learn different, and they're chasing our tails. So, I wanted to just end with that. I was told, got to stop. This is true purpose of a Republican education. In any nation, the heir of sovereignty must be qualified to meet the responsibilities of kingly office. In a republic, the people